Hi, this is John Lammers, the developer of EpicTable, and as I indicated in an earlier post, I wanted to start showing you EpicTable in development, the full app, as opposed to just technology previews. So this is where EpicTable currently stands, and what I want to look at in this video is specifically the new layout. I've made some changes relative to EpicTable 1, mostly centered around the notion of trying to be more minimal with respect to the UI elements to give you more space to play. I've done a lot of playing on laptops lately, and I've noticed that EpicTable 1, you can configure it to be more minimal, but out of the box it takes up a lot of space, and there's some other things that playing on double monitors and things like that I felt could be better. So this is the current EpicTable 2, and it reflects a lot of those design choices. I wanted to walk you through them and solicit some feedback. So first off, as you're familiar with from EpicTable 1, you've got a chat window here on the left and a tabbed area for maps here in the middle. And a new piece of EpicTable 2 is this Game Objects panel. And I'm going to, this can be auto-hidden, which is why it was collapsed before, or you can leave it like this so that it's available all the time. I think most people will probably auto-hide it because you won't very often have to come back here, but we'll see. So this shows you a set of all of the objects that are in your game, characters, maps, handouts, and you can open things from here. So I'll go ahead and open the dungeon map, and so we've got our traditional multi-tabbed area here, and then let's get this out of the way for now, like that. And notice that instead of a ribbon, we have just a nice thin bar here. We can create new maps and characters and handouts from here. The edit menu is not fleshed out yet. Under view, I've got the ability to pop open the chat panel header, which allows you to change where you want the chat panel to be. So I can dock it over here if I want. Or put it on a separate monitor if I wanted to do that. But for now, let's put it back here. And I can leave it like that. I can auto-hide it. Or I can just turn off the chat panel header entirely so that I don't have that in my way. We got the chat panel options, which we looked at in the previous video. And we'll look at this again. We'll revisit chat, but for now, I just wanted to show you where this was accessed. The difference between the items that are here and some of the things I'll show you in a bit, these are things from the menu or things I don't expect that you'll need very often. In other words, I think you'll get the chat options the way you want them, and then you'll leave them alone. And so they're relegated to the menu. Unlike the game objects, they are here and kind of fly out every time you come over here, or an encounter panel, which is coming, are things that you're going to be using often. You'll be able to clear the chat messages, which is something I've always wanted to do, and save and restore layouts. So once you have things the way you want them, it will probably auto-save them at the end of the session. I had it set up like that, and then I've been doing enough experimentation. I don't always want that. So that might be an option here, whether to auto-save at the end of the session or to just save explicitly. The things like who holds the balance of power, whether it's GM controls everything, or whether it's a more egalitarian thing where basically anyone can do anything, move things around, create maps, and that kind of thing. That can be controlled here. I do plan on making that customizable. In EpicTable 1, it was basically one or the other. And I'd like to provide some finer grain control. And then finally, themes. So none of these are super compelling yet, but my plan would be to add some themes that are readable and attractive for different kinds of games. And then you have the help area here. And there will be help this time. Some of you may have found the online user guide. That will be rewritten for EpicTable 2 and linked to from here. If you haven't found it, you can go to help.epictable.com and you'll find it there. Alright, so we have our map here, and I want to show you this area over here. There's a flyout menu that gives you surface controls. So from here, you can turn the grid on and off. You can change the size of the grid. You can change the grid color. That sort of thing. Very like what you could do with the menu, or I'm sorry, with the ribbon before. Only, I think I like the flyout menu here, just because it takes up less space. The other thing that I like about it is that it travels with you. So if you undock this and you go to put it on another screen, you still have it right here rather than coming back to the ribbon. So that's kind of nice. You dock that. Now let's take a look at the, over here we have our space battle. This doesn't look very spacey, so let me show you how you can use the surface menu here to do things like change the color and give ourselves hexes instead and make them a little more visible. So the idea is this would be here always available to you. Down here in the bottom, let me flip back to the button, it's easy to see here. You have your zoom control, and of course you can pan around the map using the scroll bars here or the mouse wheel. And then these two new buttons where you can go back to 100% or to the current screen. One thing I'd really like some feedback on is this over here. I feel like this is a little messy here on the right. Notice every time I come over here to grab the surface flyout, I tend to travel into this other area and get my game objects or something. I've got too much stuff flying out. So I feel like this maybe ought to be moved. I don't really want them at the top though, because there's usually a lot of things that go on gameplay wise at the top of the map. So I like it sort of tucked out of here on the right side, but they're obviously conflicted with each other. So I find myself very often coming over here and having to back out and grab it. So I'll do something about this. Not sure exactly what. It could be as simple as moving these. I've thought about merging these two menus so that they would show up down here. I'd be interested to know whether you guys think that would get confusing, because it's basically mixing tabs that are map specific with ones that are game specific. That's where things stand now. I really did want to show you the process of dragging characters onto the map. You would do that from here, but that's not ready yet. So that is something that we'll look at in a future video. But let me know what you think, and any feedback that you have, I'd love to hear. Thanks.